Ladies and gentlemen, this is Big Ray's Wrestling Show. If you don't know me, I am the Mark of the Masses, the man with the plan. Big Ray here to stay to talk some TNA Tna Impact 5/15/2014. Ladies and gentlemen, I am back. It's been a long time. I've had a lot of personal issues, as you guys know. If you guys follow me at the KNUX Wrestling Show, if you guys follow me here at OneWrestling.com, I have been making a lot of changes for myself, to better myself. Now, unfortunately, I did lose my father-in-law a couple of weeks ago. Again, my family is doing much better. Thank you for your Facebook follows, your Twitter follows. Thank you for sending your private messages and your personal messages to me. I really appreciate it, guys. It's really exciting to be back. I'm very happy to be back. I've continued to do stuff at KNUX Wrestling Show just because, well, basically, it just works better with my schedule. Now, there is a possibility, I'll let you guys know, there's a possibility that I may not be doing Impact recaps for OneWrestling.com anymore. That is a possibility. I love TNA Impact. TNA Impact, this is where I basically started here at OneWrestling.com. But the possibility, depending on my work schedule, is that I may be doing just Monday Night Raw recaps. I say right now we're 50-50, trying to figure things out, but I'm going to continue doing TNA recaps. It's going to be here every single Friday, the Friday directly after TNA Impact, every Friday morning. So guys, usually you watch all the other reviews. You watch my buddy Andre Corbeil, and you can follow him at Andre_Corbeil. Of course, follow me on Twitter at Big Ray Show, and follow Bill after at AfterOneWrestling.com. You watch those reviews on Friday, and if you on Thursday nights, and if you want to watch something on Friday, if you want to see my take on TNA Impact, follow me here. Give me a couple of views, give me some likes, and I appreciate it. So now, guys, we're gonna jump into a really exciting and just so many things happened this week on Impact. Now, we all know, guys, it's been again quite a while since I've done a recap, but MVP has turned heel. He has turned on Eric Young, and they showed a video package to open the show about Eric Young getting basically punched in the face and knocked out by MVP. So MVP stating that he wants to be the TNA World Heavyweight Champion. That title is sitting over my right shoulder, your left. Now, Eric Young comes into the ring, and actually, no, backstage we start the show, and he's basically looking for MVP. He sees a limousine pulling up, which is MVP's limousine, and he goes to attack MVP. Well, he is stopped by the security guards, and MVP's like, dude, well, he's like, dude, yeah, that's not how MVP talks, but he's like, yo, relax. You know what I'm saying? Well, anyway, security stops him. Eric Young basically goes to the ring, cuts a promo about change and how he was hoping that MVP would be that change, but he says, look, there's nothing worse than Dixie Carter, but apparently MVP is looking to be almost as worse, if not even more worse, because MVP can not only do it outside the ring, MVP can also do it inside the ring. So anyway, Eric promises that this kind of stuff will never happen again on his watch, and that Eric Young warns MVP he better watch out because Eric Young is crazy. Now MVP comes onto the monitor, and he calls MVP out, but MVP doesn't come out. He goes onto the screen, and MVP says that this was all a master plan. Okay, you know, the fact is that, yeah, you can be a pencil pusher or a pen pusher, whatever the hell they call it, and you can basically have the power. And he talks about the guy from the NBA, the racist, you know what, I'm not even mentioning his name, but it doesn't even matter, the owner of the Clippers, and that guy has power, but guess what? You know, he's getting tossed out of the league, hopefully. But MVP says the real power lies in the ring. The real power lies not only in the office, but holding the TNA World Heavyweight Champion, to be at the top of the mountain in TNA. So MVP says that it was a plan the whole time, and that, you know, he feels a little bad for Eric Young because Eric Young kind of got in the way. He didn't think Eric Young had a snowball's chance in hell to actually win the title, but he did. And it actually kind of furthered along his idea. Now, Eric Young challenges MVP for a fight. Oh, and before that, MVP did state to Eric Young that he will take the TNA World Heavyweight title from Eric Young, and Eric Young will become a nothing. Once again, Eric Young then proceeds to challenge MVP for a fight for the TNA World Heavyweight title tonight's Impact. MVP says, you know what? I don't like your odds. Gives him the fist. So now, Dixie Carter is driving to her house, and she's with Rockstar Spud, and she notices that there's graffiti all over her property. More specifically, there are tables all over with written, you know, Bully fears Dixie. Oh, I'm sorry, Dixie fears Bully. Bully doesn't fear anybody, apparently. And we continue to cover this throughout the night. So Dixie Carter's really scared. She's like, what the hell's going on? Anyway, so we're going to jump into a match with Willow versus Magnus and Bram. Yes, a handicap match. Now, Bram comes into TNA to help bring Magnus back to the tough guy Magnus that we all know. Now, during this match, Willow fought well, and again, it was two relatively big guys against one man. Now, towards the end of the match, Bram goes outside of the ring and he pulls a crowbar out from under the ring, throws it, and plays side of the referee. He wants Magnus to use it on Willow. Well, Magnus says, like, you can't do that. You can't do that. And while he's arguing with Bram, and Willow basically, he actually picks Willow up for a body slam. Willow rolls him up in a small package for the 1-2-3. Ladies and gentlemen, after the match, Bram is getting in the face of Magnus. Basically told him, I told you so. So Magnus, he's basically trying to toughen him up, and I kind of like where this is going. I would love to see these guys as a tag team and maybe get into that tag team division, maybe battle the Wolves. So far, so good. I like Bram. I like the dichotomy between Bram and Magnus, and I like where they're kind of going with Magnus. Again, you know, there's this ridiculous misconception that people from Europe are not tough. Bull. Believe me, I know a lot of people from Europe, and they're tough. So anyway, and some of the best fighters come from Europe, but anyway, that's just my opinion. So now we're going to move into Backstage, and Eric Young goes to MVP's office. Now they got these two chubby little security guards standing there, and he's like, you don't get paid enough. He goes right by them, and he's looking for MVP, doesn't find MVP. What he does find himself doing is trashing MVP's office. We move on. Now we have Dixie Carter. Dixie Carter's still checking the property, and she finds more graffiti, and all of a sudden Bully Ray calls her cell phone. And Bully Ray asks if he likes the art project that he did for her. And he tells Dixie Carter that he is in fact inside her home. But what she does is she sends poor little Rockstar Spud inside to look for Bully Ray. We move on, and we have Gail Kim. Gail Kim cutting a promo saying that she's the hardest working knockout in TNA history. Apparently Gail Kim is a full face turn. She's done a full face turn, and she's going to be battling with the beautiful people. And Kim basically calls out the beautiful people. Now, Angelina Love and Velvet Sky come to the ramp, and they basically make fun of her, and they make fun of her red outfit, which I think looks phenomenal. I don't know if Gail Kim gained a couple of pounds, but not all in the wrong places, if you know what I mean. Gail Kim looks phenomenal. She looks great. She is one of the best workers in wrestling, female-wise and any other-wise. She's a very good wrestler, and they actually make fun of the fact that she's a good wrestler. But anyway, so while this is all happening, Angelina Love accepts Gail Kim's challenge, as Gail Kim challenged him to a fight. While Gail Kim is distracted, Velvet Sky blindsides her. So we jump into the match between Gail Kim and Velvet Sky. Now, towards the end of the match, we have Velvet Sky, who's basically, she was checking herself in the mirror, making sure her face was beautiful, which it is gorgeous. And Velvet Sky was in command. Now, at this time, now she dominated most of the match. I gotta be honest with you. Velvet Sky dominated most of the match, but out of nowhere, Gail Kim grabs Velvet Sky's arm, hits the eat defeat for the 1-2-3. Gail Kim defeats Velvet Sky out of nowhere. Now, as Gail Kim is getting her arms raised, of course, Angelina Love, the TNA Knockouts champion, attacks from behind, and this feud will eventually go on. I do see Gail Kim possibly winning the TNA Knockouts title. I want to hear what you guys think. Please leave your comments below at OneWrestling.com, on YouTube /OneWrestlingVideo, or leave one on Twitter at OneWrestling, or of course at Big Ray Show. Now, I'm going to really get into this, and I'm going to have to clear my throat about this one. the Menagerie. We have poor Kaz, who I believe is Global Force Wrestling bound. Me and Andre Corbeil have stated this many a times at the KNUX Wrestling Show. Of course, watch that every Friday, actually every Saturday night, 8 p.m. at Andre Corbeil. Kaz has become a jobber. His contract is basically almost up and he's gone. So I think he's totally gone. He's just working out the last couple of months of his contract. Now, Kaz versus Crazy Steve. And I love to give things a chance. That's me. But this match was a total and utter cluster. You know what I mean. It was just ridiculous. The best part of this entire thing was that I found my favorite new entrance into the ring. That's Rebel, when she does the split on that bottom rope. She is gorgeous, beautiful, and she has everything, all the right places. Now, the music played during the whole match, which I found extremely distracting. Steve has these stupid horn with these silly balloons, and it's just, the whole entire match is just ridiculousness. I mean, I understand it's supposed to be weird and crazy, but it was just a mishmash of stupidness. And I have to be honest with you guys, I hated this. I thought it was horrible. I think they could go a better direction if they go deeper, if they go darker, if they go more evil. Same thing with Steve. His character, now this guy can wrestle. I've seen him wrestle before. If you guys don't know, look him up. And he looks like an idiot. I mean, he's acting like a fool. And here's the funny thing. He pulls the balloons into the ropes, does a splash off the top rope to burst the balloons, and he misses the splash, then proceeds to attack the balloons and pop them. What? Oh my God. It's just so bad. I'm sorry. It is so bad. I love TNA. I love you guys, but it was so bad. When it's bad, it's bad. And that was horrible. And the way the match ended was even more ridiculous, where Steve basically pulls the referee's pants down, exposing his underwear. He gets DQ'd, and Kaz gets the win. I don't know. Well, we go backstage. Let's move on. We go backstage, and Eric Young is looking to attack MVP, which he does. And they fight their way all the way to the ring. Basically, MVP focuses on that hurt left arm of Eric Young, and he damages it even more. Once he got it to a point where Eric Young could not even move and he was holding that arm, MVP says he accepts the challenge and he will fight Eric Young for the TNA World Heavyweight title. Now, we move on and we find Rockstar Spud, who finds Bully Ray, but Bully Ray grabs him in a choke and holds him down and says, "You gotta see this." Now we have Mr. Anderson versus Cowboy James Storm. We run into that, and that was actually a really good match. Really enjoyed it. Again, TNA was a lot better this week. There was a lot more wrestling. The storytelling was actually better. The Menagerie, I could have cut that whole thing out of the show, but. And if you guys hated the Aces and Eights, all right. So we have Mr. Anderson now. After Mr. Anderson kicks out of a pile driver, after he kicks out of a DDT. Cowboy James Storm is just frustrated, so he goes, takes a swig of that beer, brings a beer bottle. He's about to smack Mr. Anderson. Mr. Anderson! Wait for it. Anderson. Excuse me, it's been a while. He smacks him with that, well, he goes to smack him with the beer bottle. Mr. Anderson, he puts him in the mic check. He drops the beer bottle. As the referee is clearing the beer bottle out of the ring, Cowboy James Storm spits the beer that I totally forgot he still had in his mouth into the eyes of Mr. Anderson, hitting the last call super kick for the 1, 2, 3. I gotta tell you, excellent way to finish that match. Really, really well done. Well planned, the bottle, everything. Very, very good match. Excellent job. And now we cut away and we see Sam Shaw, who is in the loony bin. He is in a straitjacket, and apparently he has a visitor. He has a visitor, and he wants to know if it's Christy Hemme. So we move on to a nice video package with Sanada, where they would basically really break down his career, his ambitions, and basically totally put him over in the video. I thought it was extremely, extremely well done. Nice video package by TNA. Now, really quickly, I'm going to jump right back into Sam Shaw really quickly. Sam Shaw was visited after he basically was asking if it was Christy. He was visited by Gunner, and Gunner basically says, look, I'm here because I think you need somebody to talk to, and Sam Shaw did not react, but interesting. I want to see where do you guys think this storyline is going with Sam Shaw? You know, being loony bin, his whack job, all this other stuff, but why are they putting him together with Gunner? You think Gunner maybe understands him because Gunner's not all there also? Possibly. But anyway, so now we go into the X Division title match, a three-way match between DJ Zima, Tigre Uno, or Tigre Uno, and Sanada, the X Division champion. Great match to watch. I'm not going to get into all the specifics, but it's a fantastic match to watch. Sanada is a real star. I wish this guy spoke English. I think he would be so much more over, if that makes any more sense, than he would be if speaking only Japanese. Now, Sanada basically hits a beautiful Tiger suplex on DJ Zima for the 1-2-3 with a bridge, by the way, and he actually holds on to the X Division title. Again, great match. If you can, go back, watch it. Excellent match. Now we're gonna move on, and we have Kurt Angle, and apparently he goes to the doctor, and his ACL is basically torn. He needs knee surgery, and you can see the look of dejection. I can't even say the word, but you know what he means. He looks sad. Kurt Angle really looks sad, and you know what, guys? A lot of people don't know if this is a work, if this is not a work or not. Kurt Angle is definitely hurt. He's been hurt for years, and like I spoke to Andre, Canon Wrestling Show 29, talking about Kurt Angle, and we stated that, you know, it's bad because Kurt Angle, unfortunately, looks like the type of guy that's going to end up in a wheelchair eventually, and I hope that is not the truth. I want to know what your opinions are on Kurt Angle. I feel that he is the greatest wrestler to ever wrestle in professional wrestling. Not entertainer, the greatest wrestler of all time. I believe once his contract is up, he will probably be put in the WWE Hall of Fame. He will leave TNA, and maybe perhaps he will go on to wrestle until he permanently, unfortunately, injures himself. I also see him going to Global Force Wrestling, but again, my opinion. So now, Dixie is finally confronted by Bully Ray, and Dixie comes into the ring. She comes to her home, her bedroom, and she sees Rockstar Spud down on the floor, cowering, and Bully Ray is behind the door, and he asks her, he says, you know, everybody thinks that Bully Ray's afraid of Dixie. All I want you to say is Dixie Carter fears Bully Ray. That's all he wants. He'll leave. I'll leave. This is all your fault, he says. He says if she didn't do what she did to him, he wouldn't be in her house. So he's putting all the blame on Dixie Carter. Well, Dixie Carter proceeds to finally say Dixie Carter. She goes, Dixie Carter fears, and out of nowhere, EC3 attacks Bully Ray from behind, knocking Bully Ray out. Dixie Carter proceeds to say, Dixie Carter fears no one. Dixie Carter apparently having EC3 defend her. Now, my question to you is, why couldn't she just call the cops? I would have just called the cops. This is professional wrestling. This is the way things are done. She calls her nephew. Anyway, and she sends Rockstar Spud in there. It was all in her. I love Spud, by the way. So we move on to the main event of the evening for the TNA World Heavyweight title. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we have MVP versus the TNA World Heavyweight title holder, Eric Young. Now this match basically started off with a fight outside the ring where MVP continued to attack Eric Young's arm, finally pulling him into the ring. Now just when Eric Young looked like he had MVP down, he was going up for the big elbow drop, out of nowhere, the king of the night, Kenny King, comes out and attacks. Yes, he attacks Eric Young. At first MVP is kind of looking around like, what the hell's going on? But Kenny King proceeds to attack, and MVP starts getting a smile on his face. Kenny King hits his finisher, and MVP demands that the referee Hebner should restart the match. He refuses, that being the referee. Kenny King proceeds to beat the referee and knock the referee out. At first, MVP looks like he's upset with Kenny King, but then gently puts a fatherly hand on the face of Kenny King, condoning Kenny King's actions. They proceed to beat on Eric Young. But then Bobby Lashley's music hits, and he comes in for the save. Or does he? Bobby Lashley comes into the ring and looks like he's about to save Eric Young, but he stands up and spears Eric Young to hell. Kenny King gets 2 chairs, puts them together, and Bobby Lashley hits that big power slam through those 2 chairs, and they decimate the TNA World Heavyweight Champion. Ladies and gentlemen, MVP stands over the TNA World Heavyweight Champion, holding up that gorgeous TNA World Heavyweight title over his head, then gently placing it on the back of Eric Young as he is laid face down on the mat. Ladies and gentlemen, this was TNA Impact 5/15/2014, and I gotta tell you guys, one hell of an impact. You guys can say what you want to say about TNA Wrestling, but the fact is, I love TNA Wrestling, and I think it's awesome and a great alternative to WWE, and of course you guys know I am a big fan of WWE. Ladies and gentlemen, I say this every single week. I would do this for a living. I have a job, so I can't. But if I can, I would do it anyway. Why? Because I love talking wrestling, and I love you guys. Ladies and gentlemen, you can follow us here at OneWrestling.com, YouTube /OneWrestling Video. Follow me on Twitter at Big Ray Show. Follow us on Twitter at OneWrestling. Follow Bill Apter on Twitter at Apter1Wrestling. Ladies and gentlemen, follow my Can-Am brother from the north, Mr. Andre Corbeil, at Andre_Corbeil. And of course, follow us, the Can-Am Wrestling Show, on Twitter now at Can-Am Wrestling. Ladies and gentlemen, me and Andre are looking to have a great Can-Am Wrestling show this week. It is Can-Am Wrestling number 30. And don't forget, the new Ohio Valley Wrestling World Heavyweight Champion, Jamin Olivencia, will be back on our show. It's been a while. He's had a lot of this played after his battles with AJ Styles, and of course, winning the OVW Heavyweight Championship. Jamin Olivencia will be back at the Can-Am Wrestling Show. And ladies and gentlemen, just so you know, I have been changing for the better. I've dropped almost 20 pounds in just in under 3 weeks, almost 2.5 weeks. I have been doing DDP yoga. DDP has reached out to me personally and is giving me encouragement, guys. Sometimes you got to do things for the betterment of yourself. And I'm sorry I've been away so long, but I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. Big Ray is back, Jack. And I will see you next Friday on my TNA Impact recap and review here at OneWrestling.com. Peace.